the buying of crude oil or LNG, LPG from the US is in India's own strategic interests as we diversify our oil sources. But the decisions are taken by the buyers, by the companies themselves.
India's Union Minister for Commerce Piyush Goyal on Sunday one more time sidestepped a direct answer about US President Donald Trump's condition that India will not buy Russian oil. The US President had threatened to reimpose tariffs on India if India continued to buy crude from Russia. Piyush Goyal said, and I quote, "The buying of crude oil or LNG, LPG from the US is in India's own strategic interests as we diversify our oil sources," unquote. On the issue of US raising concerns about India buying Russian oil during the Ukraine war, Goyal has said that this is a matter that falls under the Ministry of External Affairs. The question on Russian oil seemingly remains open. President Trump, in his executive order, one by which he removed 25% penalty on India, said that the US Commerce Secretary should keep track if India resumes crude oil imports from Russia. This monitoring mandate on Indian oil purchases is being looked upon as a sting in Trump's executive order. The order means that if it is found that India has resumed directly or indirectly importing Russian oil, the US could snap the 25% punitive tariff back into place. This is what the US President's executive order reads, and I quote, "India has committed to stop directly or indirectly importing Russian Federation oil, has represented that it will purchase United States energy products from the United States, and has recently committed to a framework with the United States to expand defense cooperation over the next 10 years, unquote. The order references Vladimir Putin's Moscow regime as a reason for these tariffs on India. It is titled "Modifying Duties to Address Threats to the United States by the Government of the Russian Federation." This order is different from the India-US joint statement that announced the framework for an interim agreement towards an eventual bilateral trade agreement or BTA. India's Ministry of External Affairs has reiterated that energy purchases will be diversified on the basis of market conditions and international dynamics to ensure the country's energy security. This is a diplomatic line that New Delhi has stuck to for months amid Trump's tariff aggression. Indian refiners are reportedly avoiding Russian oil purchases for delivery this April. They are expected to stay away from such trades for longer. This according to a report on Reuters this Sunday. As per data shared by the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, December supplies of Russian oil were nearly 27% lower compared with imports worth of $3.7 billion a month earlier in November 2025 and over 15% lower than the $3.2 billion of imports during the corresponding month in the year 2024. India's Russian oil imports in January 2026 were down about 12% on a daily basis over December 2025. This according to a calculation done by Reuters. Those oil imports in December had dropped 22% from November 2025 to 1.38 million barrels per day. In January 2026, India imported 1.215 million barrels per day of Russian crude, of which Nayara refinery accounted for 0.41 million barrels per day. Indian Oil Corporation accounted for 0.58 million barrels per day and Bharat Petroleum Corporation Limited accounted for 0.19 million barrels per day. Reliance Industries imported no Russian crude oil in the month of January 2026, this according to provisional data provided by analytics firm Kepler. The ongoing budget session has been disrupted, particularly in the Lok Sabha, as the BJP-led NDA is locked in a bitter battle with the opposition over the US-India trade deal.